And you've tuned in to Dell's Discretion podcast. I am Dell. Thank you for tuning in, taking a few moments out of your day, and this will only be a few minutes. You can follow me at DellDidway.com. That's DELDUDUIT.com. Follow me there on Twitter, on Parler, on Instagram as well. I'm trying to get all of them covered, all the social media platforms covered, Facebook too. I enjoy it. Sometimes, here lately, social media has been just a bit overwhelming at times. But again, thanks for taking a few minutes. I'll only keep you a few minutes as well. For one, I can't talk that long, and I've only had a couple of cups of coffee. Need a few more. I'm excited because in 2 days, this is Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, but on Monday, I will launch my latest book, Dugout Devotions 2, Inspirational Hits from MLB's Best from New Hope Publishers and Iron Stream Media. 2 years ago, we launched the first volume, and it did really, really well. Really surprised at that and very blessed and grateful for that. So I'm going to focus on that today. This is my 10th podcast. I haven't been kicked off the air yet because I haven't got into anything controversial yet. Boy, last week was full of controversial topics. Oh my goodness. Twitter was ablaze. A lot of things I've grown up with, fun things, are in the crosshairs right now of the other side. It's crazy. Dr. Seuss is labeled a racist. Mr. Potato Head, oh my gosh, they're making him gender neutral. When will this craziness end? If something offends somebody, it takes a lot to offend me. But if something offends you, just ignore it. Go on. Good grief, folks. We've raised a generation of wimps and sissies. We really have. So I won't get started on that. Next week I may touch on that. Then I'll get banned probably. Because you can't say nothing about the other side without them being offended. Men need to be men. Women need to be women. And that's it. Grow a backbone. Grow up, shut up, and stop being so offended by everything. If you don't like Dr. Seuss, don't pick up the books. Simple as that. Believe it or not, there's a lot of folks like his work. Great author. It reminds me, a lot of his books took off this week because of all the craziness. A year or two ago, the wimpy side, as I call them, got so offended at Dean Martin's song, Baby It's Cold Outside. They wanted it banned. Oh my gosh, it's promoting date rape. That song went to the top of the charts. I think it's great. Mike Lindell is under assault. His pillow sales are going through the roof. Dr. Seuss is a racist all of a sudden, so now his sales are going through the roof because people are saying, what's wrong with this stuff? So they're buying it. So anyway, I can't get off on that. I want to get off on a different tangent. As I touched on earlier, Dugout Devotions 2 comes out Monday. It's a crossover book, which means it'll be in the general market and the Christian market. And I'm going to take a story from the first one. Most of the stories in these books are from well-known players that I've interviewed. Big names. Clayton Kershaw. Aaron Judge. Francisco Lindor, Albert Pujols, Tim Tebow, guys like that. But this one's from Mike Sarbaugh. Yeah, Mike Sarbaugh. Who's he? Exactly. A lot of folks don't know who he is. Cleveland fans do. He is the third base coach for the Indians. Oh, fantastic guy. Probably one of my favorite stories ever. third base coach. Very critical. He has to make split-second decisions. Whether to send a runner home, hold him up at third, a lot of other things. But his choices, they can win a game, they can lose a game. And he told me that he has to recognize the situation, rely on his gut, and rely on research he's done for the players. He has to know the arm strength of the outfielders. He has to know how fast his players can run. And he has to know the situations, spur of the moment. If the runner scores that he sends home, he's made the right call. Everything's great. If it turns out the other way, Mike takes responsibility. They could lose the game. Player could be thrown out, could be hurt. Then it's his fault. He said, sometimes I make mistakes. But once that decision's been made, he cannot go back. He has to live with that outcome. He has to explain his outcome, maybe. Why did you send that runner? Oh my gosh, didn't you know he can't run fast? Didn't you know the arm strength? And you know what? The same is true in our daily walk. We're faced with hundreds of choices every day. What to wear, what to eat, how many cups of coffee to have. Do I have that fourth cup of coffee? I need that right now. These are part of our normal lives. Decisions. There are times that you may not even be aware of decisions you make. For instance, you may take a different route to work and not realize that there was an accident waiting for you in the other direction. Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe God took care of you. You were spared those details. You may choose to say something positive, brighten a person's day. That's your choice. It might not seem like a big deal to you, but it might bring healing or just what that person needs who might be living in a silent hurt. We take choices for granted. They're part of our lives. Some of them become routine. But when you make that wrong call, it can have a costly outcome. In the game of baseball, these players are gone from their loved ones a lot. Days at a time, they might miss their kids' schools play, ball games, practice. That's tough on them. So grace and faith play an important role in order to avoid mistakes. These players, sometimes they have a lot of money and a lot of downtime. They can get in a lot of trouble if they're not careful. And Mike told me that his faith keeps him grounded. When he comes home, his family gets his attention. And it's important to maintain a laser-like focus on what's important to help deter you from making a mistake. Mike's coaching career goes way back. He's got a long history of successful coaching. So instructing has been a way of life for him. He leads by example. Younger players who come into the league, he takes kind of a extra special attention to them. Because he said, some of these kids have never been in the public eye. They might have been popular in high school, but they've not made that kind of money they're going to be making. And he tries to put them in contact with seasoned players, veterans, who are good, who can be a good influence. Because the last thing he wants to see a young kid make a stupid mistake. Because once that happens, it sticks with them. The reputation takes years to build up and just a few seconds to go down. So you've heard that. So you might be confronted with a tough decision. We've all been there. But when it's crunch time and the clock's ticking away, you may be thrown into a set of circumstances that requires you to make a split-second decision. Temptation, money. You may covet something. Deep down, you know the right thing to do. But your experience, troubles because you let the devil sit on your left shoulder and then that angel's on the right shoulder. They're bickering back and forth, trying to persuade you to do what they think's the right thing to do. It's easy to give in, especially when no one's around. You're miles away. Easy. No one's going to see it. But the devil, and the devil's real, the devil is real. He won't show you the results until it's too late. Till you've been fired, or till you're broke, or till your relationship's torn up. Then you see the results. So it's go time. You have a decision to make. What will it be? How will you make it? Pastor Rick Warren had some advice that he gave. I'll try to remember. Should have researched this, but I remember he said, pray for guidance. And that sounds generic, but it's genuine. Get the facts. Do your homework. It's not a bad, too much information is not a bad thing. Ask for advice. Talk to people who've been there. Hey, what did you do? Why did you make this decision? Talk to them about it. Calculate the cost. I always say weigh the pros and cons. Not just monetarily. Be prepared. If you're not ready to make a decision, don't make it. And finally, face your fears. That's a big one. You got to face them. If you're afraid of something, calculate the pros and cons. If it's something you're afraid of, if you don't face it, you're always going to be afraid of it. I remember the quote, John Wayne, courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyway. Mike said that they don't always do the right things, but they try. And if you have to hide when you do something, chances are you shouldn't be doing it. Doing what's right can be difficult at times, but you will see the positive results. Never put your own needs in the forefront. If you're offered a fantastic job, lots of money, but you have to move your family away, your children away from the friends and family they love, you need to take that into consideration. Weigh the pros and cons. Look at the entire picture, how it affects everyone around you, then how it affects you. Ask God's will. He'll help you make that choice. Be aware of the arm strength of your opponent. Keep your eye on the third base coach when you head for home. And if he sends you to the plate, go hard. Avoid that tag. Because it's always best to be safe than sorry. So I'm looking forward to Monday's release of Dugout Devotions 2. Mike is not in this one, but a lot of other big names are. A couple of obscure names you may not know, but sometimes they can have the best stories. So we're looking forward to it. Dugout Devotions 2. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble's website. You can find it at Books A Million's website. Where books are sold is what we're always told. That's where you can find it. Hopefully it'll be in the bookstores. A lot of fun to write, and we're excited about this launch. Got some good things planned over the summer, hopefully. Hopefully we'll be able to get out, go to some of these ball games, get this book into the hands of the folks I interviewed. That always helps. Thank you for taking a few minutes today of your day to listen to my discretion, Dell's Discretion, and my cheesy promotion for my book, Dugout Devotions 2. Very excited about this. New Hope Publishers and Iron Stream Media did a fantastic job. So I think I'm going to go have that fourth cup of coffee. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day. Do go out there and do something positive today. Say something nice to somebody. Smile at a waiter or waitress. They do a good job. Give them a tip. Because there's never a wrong time to be positive. Have a great day.